Ethan Blackwood was not a man accustomed to surprises. As a billionaire who had built an empire from ruthless precision and relentless ambition, he controlled outcomes, dictated terms, and eliminated uncertainty. That morning, however, fury drove him instead of logic. The news had reached him through a mutual acquaintance, careless, breathless, and incomplete. "Your ex-wife is living comfortably. Looks like she moved on fast." The words burned. After the divorce, Ethan had been convinced that Maya would struggle without him. Not because she was weak, but because the world was. He had cut ties cleanly, paid what the lawyers demanded, and walked away believing closure was a luxury he'd earned. Anger carried him to her house. It was a modest place on a quiet street, far from the glass towers that bore his name. He didn't knock. He never knocked anywhere. He pushed the door open, ready with 1,000 sharp words about betrayal, about dignity, about how quickly she had replaced him. "Maya," he snapped. Then he froze. She stood near the window, sunlight wrapping around her like a fragile shield. In her arms was a newborn baby, impossibly small, swaddled in a pale blue blanket. The baby stirred, let out a soft sound, and curled tiny fingers around Maya's thumb. The room went silent. Ethan's anger collapsed into confusion so sudden it left him breathless. His mind raced, grasping for explanations, each worse than the last. A new man? Already? The thought twisted painfully in his chest. Maya looked up. Her eyes widened, not in fear, but in surprise so honest it disarmed him. She hadn't expected him. Not today. Maybe not ever. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. Ethan swallowed. His voice came out rough. "Whose child is that?" For a long moment, she didn't answer. She looked down at the baby, brushing a finger across his cheek with a tenderness that made Ethan's chest ache in a way no boardroom defeat ever had. "Come in," she said finally. "You deserve the truth." He stepped inside, the door closing behind him with a soft click that felt like a verdict. They sat across from each other, the baby between them like a fragile bridge. Maya took a slow breath. "Do you remember the last year of our marriage?" Of course he did. Endless travel. Missed anniversaries. Phone calls cut short for meetings more important than promises. He nodded. "I was sick," she continued. "Not the kind that shows right away. I tried to tell you, Ethan. I tried so many times." His brow furrowed. He remembered complaints, fatigue, stress, but he had dismissed them as consequences of a comfortable life. There was always another deal to close, another fire to put out. "I went to the doctor alone," she said. Then another. Then another. "By the time I knew I was pregnant, you were already gone." Ethan's heart began to pound. "Pregnant," he echoed. Maya met his gaze. "He's yours." The world tilted. "No," he whispered. "That's not possible." "I didn't tell you," she said gently. "You had already decided our life didn't fit your future. I didn't want a child to grow up feeling like an inconvenience." Ethan stood abruptly, pacing the small room like a trapped animal. His mind replayed memories, missed calls, unopened messages, her quiet disappointment. He had been so focused on building a legacy that he never noticed the one forming quietly without him. "What's his name?" he asked, stopping suddenly. "Leo," Maya replied. "It means strength." Ethan approached slowly, as if the baby might vanish if he moved too fast. He knelt in front of them. Leo's eyes fluttered open, dark and curious, and for a heartbeat, Ethan forgot how to breathe. The tiny face, the familiar curve of the nose, it was undeniable. Tears blurred his vision, shocking him more than anything else that day. "I came here angry," Ethan said hoarsely. "I thought you had replaced me." Maya shook her head. "I chose peace. For him." The baby stirred again, and without thinking, Ethan extended a finger. Leo grasped it with surprising strength. The sensation shattered something deep inside him, years of arrogance, regret, and emotional distance crumbling all at once. "I don't know how to fix what I broke," Ethan said. "But I want to try. Not for my image. For him." Maya studied him carefully, weighing sincerity against history. "This isn't about money or control," she said. "If you're here, you stay." "Truly?" Ethan nodded. "I will." That day, the billionaire left behind his anger at the door. What he carried with him instead was far heavier and far more precious: responsibility, humility, and a second chance he never knew he needed. And for the first time in his life, Ethan Blackwood understood that the greatest fortune he would ever hold fit perfectly in the palm of his hand.